Hey, what is up guys, it's DragonxDuelist here, and today I'm bringing you another episode of Obscure Decks, a series where I explore decks that are underused, not used at all, or just creative decks, period. This one is by a user by the name of Defanta, and it is Blue Eyes Onslaught. Basically, the deck is based around Blue Eyes and summoning Blue Eyes. So, yeah, let's just get right into it. First, we got 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons, of course. Next, we got 1 Red Eyes Darkness Metal. Everybody knows his effect by now. He special summons dragons. Next, we have 1 Dark Storm Dragon. He's a Gemini, and his Gemini effect is once per turn, you can send 1 face-up spell or trap card you control to the graveyard and destroy all spell and trap cards on the field. Mostly, you're not going to be using him for that effect. You're going to be using him because he's a 27 beater without normal summoning him again. Usually, you're going to be special summoning him with Darkness Metal Dragon. And yeah, so next we have 2 Swordsman of Revealing Light, which is a card that a little recently came to the TCG. Its effect is when an opponent's monster declares a direct attack, you can special summon this card from your hand. Then, if this card's defense is higher than the attacking monster's attack, destroy that attacking monster. An Exceeds monster that was summoned using the card on the field as an Exceeds material gains this effect. That effect is each turn, the first time this card will be destroyed by battle, it is not destroyed. So basically, this is something to defend yourself from being attacked. It's to protect your life points when you don't have anything on the field to protect your life point. So basically, if your opponent attacks you, you just drop down the Swordsman of Revealing Light. So next we have 2 Bright Star Dragons, and its effect is when this card is normal summoned, you can target 1 face-up monster on the field except this card, and increase that target's level by 2 until the end phase. This is basically going to help you synchro summon easier. These handful of synchro monsters is going to help you synchro summon easier by manipulating the levels of your monsters. Especially your tuners, you can manipulate the level of your tuners if you need to. So next we have 2 Shiny Angel. Of course, that's going to be used to get out your maidens or your white stones. Next we have 2 Honest. Of course, pretty much everything in this deck is light except for 3 monsters. So yeah, you're going to need an Honest to protect yourself from your opponent's monsters. Next we have 1 Delta Flyer, and its effect is once per turn you can select 1 other face-up monster you control and increases level by 1. So that's another card like Bright Star Dragon, which will help you synchro summon easier, get those easier synchro summon plays in order to, you know, make it game. Next we have 3 White Stone of Legend, and of course, this card is going to let you, when it's sent to the graveyard, it's going to let you add Blue Eyes White Dragon from your deck to your hand. So it's the searcher of the deck. It's searching out probably your most important card in the main deck, at least. Probably, yeah, your most important card in the main deck, and allowing you to search it and add it to your hand. Next, we have 3 Maiden with Eyes of Blue. This is another searcher for Blue Eyes. And its effect is when this card is targeted for an attack, you can negate an attack, and if you do, change the battle position of this card. Then you can special summon 1 Blue Eyes White Dragon from your hand, deck, or graveyard. During either player's turn, when a card or effect is activated that targets this face-up card, except during the damage step, you can special summon 1 Blue Eyes White Dragon from your hand, deck, or graveyard. You can only use 1 Maiden with Eyes of Blue effect per turn, and once only that turn. So yeah, basically if your opponent attacks Maiden, you can negate that attack and then you get a free Blue Eyes. And if your opponent targets Maiden with a card or a monster effect, you can just special summon a free Blue Eyes from your hand, deck, or graveyard. So anywhere that you have a Blue Eyes other than your bandage zone, you're gonna be able to special summon it. So yeah, that's it for the monsters. Now we go to the spells, and we have one for one. Of course, the effect is send one monster from your hand to the graveyard, and special summon one level 1 monster from your hand or deck. So that's gonna go for the White Stone of Legends or the Maidens, either one. Next we have 2 Burst Stream of Destruction, which is basically kind of dark hole-ish. If you control face-up Blue Eyes, you can destroy all monsters your opponent controls, although Blue Eyes can attack the turn you activate the card. So yeah, it's kind of a dark hole, except, well, it's kind of a Raigeki, you could say. So yeah, next we have Trade-In, which is pretty much the draw power of the deck. Of course, you just discard one level 8 monster, draw 2 cards. You're going to be discarding Blue Eyes White Dragon with Trade-In. If you have a pretty dead hand, you know, you can just trade it in and draw 2 cards. Hopefully you'll draw a Darkness Metal, and then you can special summon it from your graveyard. Or you can even use a Maiden to special summon it back from your graveyard. So, just utility everywhere. Next we have 1 Dragon's Mirror, and of course, that's going to be to special summon 5-headed dragon. Next we have 2 MST, of course, that's standard. 2 Silver's Cry, which is you can target 1 normal dragon type monster in your graveyard and special summon it. So either Blue Eyes White Dragon or Darkstorm Dragon, because it's a normal monster while it's face up on the field or in the graveyard. So you can special summon either one of those from your graveyard. Next we have Wonder Wand, which is going to go with the Maiden. It's going to target Maiden, which is going to activate her effect, bringing out your Blue Eyes. And for the traps, we have 1 Bottomless, 2 Mirror Force, 1 Ring of Destruction, 2 Phoenix Chain, and 2 Call of the Haunteds. So for the extra deck, we have the 3 fusion monsters. 5-headed dragon. If you don't know what 5-headed dragon does, you're just living in a hole right now. First, it needs 5 dragon type monsters, which is pretty easy in this deck because White Stone Legend is a dragon, and Delta Flyer is also a dragon. So that makes it so much easier for you to get this out. All you need to do is Dragon's Mirror. Its effect is it can't be special summoned other than fusion summoning, and it can't be destroyed by battle with an earth, water, fire, wind, or dark monster. So basically it's a powerhouse. It has 5,000 attack and 5,000 defense. I don't know how you're going to get over that with today's meta. Yeah, you can get over it with Utopias. Yeah, you can just like destroy it. But you can destroy it with card effects and stuff like that. So other than that, it's going to be a powerhouse. So yeah, next we have Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. Obviously, it's a Blue Eyes deck, so obviously it's going to have Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. Next we have 1 First of the Dragons, which is a very, very cool card. It requires 2 normal monsters, and its effect is you can only control 1 First of the Dragons, which sucks, but its effect is it cannot be destroyed by battle except for with a normal monster, and is unaffected by other monster effects. And it's a 27 beater, so you can just go ahead and smack your opponent with that 27. For synchros, we have 1 Star Eater, 2 Azurai Silver Dragon. If you don't know what this card does, it basically works hand in hand with Blue Eyes and Maiden all together. It's an all-around good card. When this card is special summoned, dragon type monsters you control you currently control cannot be targeted or destroyed by card effects until the end of the next turn. Once per turn during your standby phase, you can target one normal monster in your graveyard, special summon that target. So you got a lot of utility with this card. You can, it stops your dragons from being destroyed pretty much for 2 turns, because it's for the rest of your turn and then for the rest of your opponent's turn. So yeah, pretty much 2 turns. And yeah, you can also bring back your Blue Eyes or your Darkstorm. So it's a lot of utility. Next we have one of my favorite cards, one of my favorite synchro monsters, Hot Red Dragon Archfiend. Its effect is once per turn during your main phase 1, you can destroy all other face-up attack position monsters on the field. But monsters other than this card cannot attack the turn you activate this effect. So pretty much, if your opponent has some stuff you don't want on the field in attack position, just fine, you just get rid of that. It's kind of like a Regeki. Well, it's kind of like a Dark Hole because it also destroys your monsters that are in attack position too, which is a bummer. But with this deck, you can pretty much get back pretty much everything that you actually need, and the stuff that you don't need, you don't need to worry about getting back. So next we have one Starter's Dragon. Obviously, that's a key synchro in every deck that has synchros that can make level 8 synchros at least. Next we have Michael the Arc Lightsworn. He's a really good card. His effect is once per turn. You can pay 1,000 life points, then target one card on the field and banish that target. When this card is destroyed, you can target any number of Lightsworn monsters in your graveyard and shuffle them into the deck. And if you do, you gain 300 life points for each return card. During end phases, send the top 3 cards of your deck to the graveyard. Usually these are played in Lightsworns. Usually this card is played in Lightsworns, but it can be used in many other decks that have non-tuner light monsters, including this one, because that banish effect is too good. Next we have obviously Black Rose Dragon, which is a really good utility card. And the last synchro we have is Ancient Sacred Wyvern. Its effect is when your life points are higher than your opponent's, this card gains attack equal to the difference. While your life points are lower than your opponent's, this card loses attack equal to the difference. When this card is destroyed with a battle and sent to the graveyard, you can pay 1,000 life points to special summon this card. So basically, you want to summon this card when you're already winning and you have pretty high life points, so that it can gain the difference. And then if your opponent destroys it somehow, you can just pay 1,000 and special summon it back. So yeah. And for Exceeds, we have one number 95 Galaxy Eyes Dark Matter Dragon. It requires 3 level 9 monsters, but it can also be summoned using a Galaxy Eyes Exceeds monster that you control. Its effect is when this card is Exceeds summoned, you can send 3 Dragon type monsters with different names from your deck to the graveyard. Your opponent banishes 3 monsters from their deck, and you can detach 1 Exceeds material from this card. And then this card can make up to 2 attacks during each battle phase this turn. So basically this card is overpowered because it has 4,000 attack. It's very overpowered. You're pretty much forcing your opponent to banish cards from their deck. So yeah, it's gonna give you a lot of advantage, especially with the 2 attacks during each battle phase during the turn. So next we have the card you're going to use to summon it, which is number 107 Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon. It requires 2 level 8 monsters, and its effect is once per battle phase. At the start of your battle phase, you can detach 1 Exceeds material from this card and negate the effects of all other face-up monsters, currently on the field. Also, their attack and defense become their original attack and defense. And if you do any of these during the battle phase this turn, each time an opponent's card effect resolves, this card gains 1,000 attack until the end of the battle phase. Also, it can make a second attack during each battle phase this turn. So basically, Basically, if you activate this effect, you negate all monster effects. Then, if they gained or lost attack and defense, it goes back to their original. Then, if you activate it in either one of those effects, it gains 1,000 attack until the end of the battle phase. So that brings it up to 4,000, just like Dark Matter. And it can also make two attacks during the battle phase. So basically, you just have a whole other Dark Matter dragon in your deck. So it's pretty cool. Next we have Heretic Sun Dragon Overlord of Heliopolis. It requires 2 level 8 monsters, and its effect is once per turn. You can attach 1 Xyz material from this card, tribute any number of monsters from your hand and or your side of the field, a minimum of 1, and then destroy an equal number of cards on the field. So basically, it's kind of like 1 for 1, except it's multiples for multiples. You can like destroy multiple cards on your side, and then destroy multiple cards on your opponent's side. So it's going to give you a lot of advantage, especially if your opponent has some pretty strong monsters out, or a pretty strong field spell, because they're kind of making field spells pretty OP now. And the last Xyz we have is Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon, of course. For those of you who don't know its effect, you can detach 2 Xyz material from this card, then target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls. Its attack becomes half its current attack, and if it does, this card gains that lost attack. So basically, it takes half of your opponent's attack and it adds it to its own. So in the side deck, we have 2 Artifact Lanciers. Its effect is during your opponent's turn. You contribute this card from your hand or face up from your side of the field. Neither player can banish the cards for the rest of his turn. I don't really see why. I mean, of course, if your opponent is gonna like banish your cards, sure. Another Delta Flyer, 2 Flying Sea, which is pretty much gonna stop your opponent from Xyz summoning. 1 MST, 2 Prohibition. It's kind of like Mind Crush. Yeah, it's kind of like Mind Crush, but it doesn't target a card that's in your hand. It targets a card in your deck, and if you declare the name of that card, you can't use it until you destroy its card, of course. Next we have 1 Compulse, 2 and the Band Played On, which is also going to stop you from Xyz summoning. 2 Royal Decrees, and 2 Shadow Imprisoning Mirrors. And that is it for this obscure deck of sorts. Let me know what you guys thought of the deck in the comments down below. Like this video if you enjoyed. Subscribe to my channel for more Yu-Gi-Oh videos. And until then, this is the Dragon Duelist, and I am signing out. Peace.